This meeting is being live streamed. Got it.
Yes.
Oh, you can do straight from here itself.
Yeah, Zoom has this option where you can go live from
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitch.
Right.
Just see if we are live already.
Yeah, we are. This meeting is.
Oh, yes, there we go. All right, so I guess here we are, live and kicking. Hi everyone, my name is Ashrit. I'm one of the co-founders here at Beatworks, and I'm joined by a special guest this evening, whose name is Ishan. Say hi,
Hello.
Ishan.
Hi everyone. Myself, Ishan. I also work at Beatworks Studio along with Ashrit. And should I just like kind of brief about myself a little bit? If that's
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Let everyone know what you do other than
right.
Beatworks.
So I kind of do a lot of things, but mostly into multimedia, like music as well as visual arts, and that's my forte. I do make music, I perform music, I teach music, but also at the same time I like making 3D graphics and stuff. And apart from that, I also have a collective which is called Supper, where we kind of host, again, not multimedia, but multidisciplinary sort of projects around art itself. So that's something which kind of can speak about me in like a small nutshell. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Ishan. And also for those of you who don't know, Ishan has an album coming out soon on Killa Records and a New Delhi-based record label.
Right.
Look out for that for sure. All right. So without making you guys wait any further, let's get on with our usual business. We're going to start off with a high BPM track as usual. I think Sinister Realms is always the first guy who ends up submitting a track. I don't know how, but here we go, guys.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life. What do we got? He's not breathing. No pulse. I can save him, but we gotta move
That was tight also.
Yeah, even I felt I think it was very well produced as always. And even like quirky use of the vocals as well. I enjoyed that.
It was like, although like I think as his name suggests, sinister realms, it's going in that realm, but also these kind of vocal chops of like funny chop of vocal or something. It just lightens the mood and then suddenly gets you in that dark space again, you know. So it's like a nice journey sort of a track.
Yeah, for sure, Ishan. I totally agree with you. Just one feedback from me is that I felt like the high end, the top end felt a little dull. Other than that, I think everything else was proper, solid.
Yeah, I think there were some peaks because I think there are so many different sounds. Some of them have a little bit of resonance or like a shrillness to them. Rest of that, I think it was pretty tight to me. The production and the creativity was 10 on 10 on this.
Yeah, always. And always, I don't know how this is the first submission that we've always got.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going back on the sheet and seeing it, he's always the first guy to submit.
Where are these guys, man? Like they don't show up. It's just like suddenly they'll just show up with a banging tune and then just vanish. Put tunes out.
Yeah, exactly, guys. Put your tunes out. I mean, this is not a platform for you guys to keep sending music for feedback. I mean, yeah, that's also
Yeah,
true,
that's
but, eventually the idea is to get your tunes out there.
yeah. And I think this is all like it's there. Like I think this one at least. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So let's move on to the next one. We have one of our friends from Bangalore, Side Row, who's come out with a track called Synaptic Overload. Let's check it out.
Reppin'.
Another release-worthy track being sent for feedback.
Yeah, I think it's more of a listening session than a feedback session as of now.
True. Actually, like, yeah, when we first started this, there were people who were just getting into this and like getting the groove on. But I think all of you all have just like developed a sound of your own, and I think all your tunes deserve to be released at this point. This is definitely the best tune I've heard from Sidro.
Yeah. One thing though I was able to think of is that some of the things are far too wide. So I don't know how they'll act in a mono space like a club section or something. Some of the synths were like extremely right and widened also. So the mix can be checked once in a mono compatibility mode also. That's the only thing which I thought. Rest of it was pretty fine. That also depends on if you're gonna play this in a club. I think it's a club tune, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a club tune, and that's a good point you have there, Ishan. Those of you who are all making like club tracks, it's a good practice to always check in mono, just to see if all your sounds are translating or not.
Yeah. Although it won't translate 100%, but it shouldn't be like suddenly something's just gone, like, vanish some of the sounds.
Yeah. That's all you got to look out for when you hear in mono. Nothing should just disappear from the mix.
Yeah.
Usually when you do all these harsh effect delays and like widen stuff like quite a bit, those are the things that tend to disappear a little bit.
Mostly those artificial widening kind of tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Say no to wider.
Cancel culture.
They'll cancel me if they see now. Review of the VST.
I mean, we'll be lucky if they are watching this.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to the next one. We have Turqua, who's, I believe, collaborated with Ishan on a live set recently.
Yep.
He sent us a track called Get Moon. Let's check it out. I don't know about you guys, but that took me straight back to the 70s.
Yeah, and it also has this very RC20 flavor to it, like, some sort of a vinyl distortion that it sounds very 90s, 80s recording also, not like a
Yeah,
new
true,
age.
true, true.
Like a lot of
Really like the vibe of the track. Like it's one of the most unique tracks I've heard in the recent times.
Yeah, it also has like this very weird kind of a atmosphere in the back, which doesn't make it feel like it's a totally analogous track because you're putting some sort of a weird thing in the back. But fun fact about this guy, I played with him, but he can pick any mode of the diatonic scale if by listening to what you're playing, and then he'll start playing in that. Like any particular, like he'll just, if you're playing a Dorian mode, he'll just pick, like he'll tell you that okay, you're playing D Dorian, he'll start playing in that shit. Like,
so basically, like you're trained to the max.
and no, that's the thing. Fun fact, he just started playing guitar 5 years back. That's it.
Wow.
He's just like straight out.
Yeah, he's put in the hours and the effort for sure. You can tell. Just a couple of things that fell short for me in the track, mix wise only. I mean, vibes wise, it was just too
Yeah.
good. Mix wise, I would say like just rethink the volume levels a little bit.
Yeah.
The bass, like some of the notes felt a bit resonant.
Yeah, it can also be maybe compressed a little because some notes are very low and then sometimes it's too subby.
Yeah. Yes, exactly that.
I think that's his guitar itself. The rest of the things mostly were sampled, I think.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, when you're recording an instrument, yeah, it's important to record it at the best quality possible because whatever you do, you can't really fix it in post. Cool. So let's hear the next one. We have Jeshuran. I think he sent us a few tracks before. This one's called Don't Cry, featuring Dhyan and Ranga Sai. Let's check it out. Ishan, go first.
Okay. I like weird music, but this one I didn't expect where it was going, to be honest. And in the beginning, I was not like a very big fan creatively, but then slowly it kind of grew onto you, the kind of acts it, you know, presented. It was more like a movie line. You're watching like, different parts of the movie or something. Technically, I think there can be a lot of improvements, mixing wise, just general stuff, volumes and EQs and stuff, just stereo placement. Creatively, also, I think a couple of parts, like that mid part where there was a guitar, it was like super lushed out with reverb, which is fine. But then, I mean, reverb is a tool which can be boon or bane kind of a thing. If it's used too much, it'll make a lot of dirt also if not used correctly. So yeah, general mixing stuff mostly. I don't want to put it in a shell of genre because I think it's very weird and experimental. So I don't think I'm qualified to comment on what that was. But technically, yes, the mixing can definitely be improved. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Ishan, I agree with a lot of your points. Definitely, like mixing wise, it can be improved. Kick felt a little short of what it was supposed to do. It could have been more rounder, more deeper. It felt a bit knocky and didn't really sit into the track as a whole.
Yeah.
And also in the breakdown, I felt like there was a huge disconnect, like when that silence happened, and then suddenly those really quirky modular effects sort of sounds came in.
Yeah.
Even after that, like when the track was sped up and then was dropped, I felt like it was too rushed.
Yeah.
It could have been like, over a longer, like maybe 5 to 6 minutes kind of a journey rather than having everything happening in 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, I think because since he has so many ideas, you can, I mean, not he, I think three. So they can a lot more in the longer kind of a format of this track.
Yeah, I would like to hear a longer version of this track for sure. That's our feedback, and also mix wise, whatever we said.
But a nice approach though, like
Yeah. It's very quirky, very unique. Like definitely trying to like bridge a lot of styles of music together. Cool.
These are the kind of tracks or the people who, start off and then they reach at a time what they actually want to do and kind of blend in all those boundaries and stuff. This is one of your early tracks, maybe I can say.
True, absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. This one's called Who We Are by Johnny Jairaj. Let's check it out. So musically, definitely not up my alley, but I think it's well produced. Other than the fact that the snare is a little lacking in punch, felt like it's too highly tuned or something.
Yeah.
But I felt like the rest of it, the composition, everything was quite good.
Yeah, like straight up how it should be. Everything was like that. I thought like the kick can have a little more different selection of kick. This a little more subby kick maybe. It's a little too thin. Like when it hits, it feels more like a wooden knock rather than like a like a kick which should give you that head bang or something to your track.
True, true.
I
Uh,
think yeah, it's
yeah, for me, it was just the snare, to be
Mhm.
honest.
yeah.
Felt like it was just muffled a little bit. Like if it was more crisp and like hard hitting, I think it would work really, really well.
Yeah. But otherwise, it was like just straight up again, releasable kind of a track, apart from like a little bit of adjustment. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This one's doesn't really have a name, but the artist name is Lunatic with a V.
Okay.
मेहरबा है ये समा आ भी जा ओ मेहरबा है ये समा आ भी जा ओ मेहरबा है ये समा आ भी जा
Yeah, again, musically not up my alley, but I felt like mixing wise, there's a lot of room for improvement. And also in terms of songwriting, that uh, same phrase keeps on repeating, and it doesn't really lead to anywhere other than the drop, the second half drop that happened. That was cool, like really good sound design also.
Yeah.
But I think I would extend this by another minute or so and maybe add something a little bit more to the songwriting process of it for sure.
I think in the beginning also it just starts suddenly, like the vocal. So maybe like a little, like even if like a reverse of vocal would be nice rather than just as soon as you hit the space bar, you just like the first word comes, right? So that's one. Kick, yeah, again, like mixing. Kick is again something which I felt is a little muffled than rather than the rest of the track, which is because your whole track is very aggressive in nature. and kick, although being aggressive, but it's not cutting out. So you don't get again that bob of head like fully to the potential. But nice, and because you don't really hear a lot of this Indian trap kind of thing. I'm not sure if I'm listening to it a lot also or not, but something different. Yeah, kind of followed the same pattern of arrangement from the last track, which we just heard, which was also nice. So yeah, mixing is something which can be improved.
Yeah, I just felt like the kick was kind of going in and out of phase, because in the second half, it felt like at some moments the kick was punchy, and it had that nice deep low end. But in the first half, I think there was a lot of other like bass elements that were probably coming in the way of the kick. And
Yeah,
that's,
we clash.
yeah. That's what I felt.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So anyway, good luck with the next few releases and keep sending us more music. Let's check out the next one. This one is called Closer by Anirudh Puranik, one of my very old students who's been, I think, shifting to making more techno sounds now. Let's check it out.
I see you're a sinner, baby, so am I. The lights are getting dimmer, and the stars have all aligned. Can we stop pretending? You know where this ends. Give in to the feeling. Just let me be your friend. So light me up. This feeling about to take over. You know what I want. Before the night is over, just come closer. Just come closer. Come closer. Just come closer. Come closer. I see you're a sinner, baby, so am I. The lights are getting dimmer, and the stars have all aligned. Can we stop pretending? You know where this ends. Give in to the feeling. Just let me be your friend. I see you're a sinner, baby, so am I. The lights are getting dimmer, and the stars are all aligned. Can we stop pretending? You know where this ends. Give in to the feeling. Just let me be your friend.
I honestly think it's a very, very confused track. Like it's tagged as techno, but it's absolutely not techno. Maybe like you're trying to go for the kick, which is like, hard and distorted, but that doesn't really make it techno. Also, yeah, I mean, like even production wise, there were a lot of faults I felt, like the gating of the vocals and even that melody, like it just creeped in like too soon in the intro. Yeah, I think you can put in a little bit more of an effort, Anirudh, and definitely you can do better than this.
Yep, I think the same. The melody in the first one, I think, was a different scale also from what the vocals were, just creating that confusion, I think. Yeah, like the vocal can actually fit in well if you want to do this, but I think it needs, like Ashraf said, like you need a little bit of time for people to digest that what is happening, and like maybe a minute, and then it starts creeping a little bit, and then maybe comes in later again or something like that. Because as soon as the track start, it just in your face.
Yeah.
A lot of elements, it just comes after like a couple of bars itself, like so it was a little confusing. Although personally, I like this one bass, sort of a mid bass kind of a sound, which he had like a kind of a sound, which was pretty interesting. Yeah, But I think, yeah, arrangement also can take a little bit of improvement here.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely this kind of an arrangement would work for probably like radio, because you want to catch the listener's attention, but definitely not something an average listener who's listening to music on, like, say, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud wouldn't really want their tracks to start this way. So maybe this is like a radio edit, but maybe make
Yeah.
an extended version as well. And yeah, even mix wise, I felt like the kick was just like a knock and it didn't really have much of a body.
Yeah.
Rethink your mix downs a little bit. But yeah, we would always like to hear more music from you. Cool. So without further ado, let's check out the next one by Anant Rometra, who actually recently learned from both myself and Ishan. And yeah, let's check it out. Ishan, do you want to go first?
I think you can.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's a really nice piece of composition, definitely. one of the things I noticed was the vocal felt a bit crackly, like there's a bit of distortion, I think, because it's a old sample, or that's what it feels like. Maybe you could use some restoration from like Isotopes, one of their plugins. Other than that, I also felt like maybe the whole mixdown as a whole is a bit dark. Like maybe the high end should open up. I think I told you this also during our time together. But yeah, I mean, it's a lovely track, and yeah, good job.
Yep. Yeah, same things, but I can also, I think, again, this is a very point of view thing, I think, like a very perspective thing around music, but you can add a little bit of some sort of, what do you call these? Ear candy sort of a thing at some points, because although everything's happening pretty sweet, but it's also repeating in the second half. So, something which kind of differentiates the first half from the second half in terms of maybe like a few knocks delaying in the back of the head or something coming, like an ear candy, maybe like a very weird kind of a thing. Again, a subtle thing in the back of the whole track can add like some more character. That's it. Yeah, rest. It's a very sweet sundowner tune.
Yep. I agree with you, Ishan. Yeah, a little bit more ear candy. And also like in the drop, like after the break, I felt like that bass got a bit repetitive. I don't know how it progresses after that. I'd love to check it out later and see. But in the time that I heard, I felt like maybe it could have used like maybe one note up or down. Something of that sort could have added a little bit more to a mood change over there.
Yeah, just to have like a little groove to the whole thing.
Yep. Cool. So without further delay, let's check out the next one. This one's called Entourage by Dopsy. Yeah, I mean, the track really works well. All the elements are nicely put together, I felt. Just at the 2.5 minute mark, when that polymetric synth creeps in, I felt like that was a bit too loud. Maybe that should happen in the background a bit. And also, I was curious to see what happens in the break to the rest of the drums. I felt like it was just going on for too long. Maybe at some point you can drop the hats and the clap and the snare basically, and give way for something new to happen, or maybe let the vocal shine and then like do that drum roll thing and then come back to the drop. Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I loved it actually because it gives you that good sort of old mechanical melodic techno, not the new melodic techno vibes. It's like still quirky in a way that even the vocals didn't feel cheesy at all. Like, you know, it was just put together kind of well. Reminds me of Shallosen and those sort of artists, very similar to that mechanical sort of tunes with digital elements. All good tune. I it's a slow burn, like it slowly kind of creep, you know, just starts building up the whole track and everything. Honestly, I don't think I have anything to put on this one. But yeah, I think whatever you said, that was something which can be improved on. But yeah, lovely tune.
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely one of the best I've heard from Doxy. He's been sending us music for a while now.
When I heard the name first, I thought it'll be some hip hop, dope, some sort of a thing. But it turned out to be this. Nice.
Yeah, nice crisp production also. Like everything was like very tight.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's check out the next one. I believe this is Vishnu, Agent Bugs,
Mhm.
who made us a track entirely recorded on VCV Rack, just a basic mix down on Ableton.
Oh,
I really like it when you guys put these comments on your tracks. I really enjoy reading those and also telling all our listeners about it.
yeah.
So let's check it out. This one's called VCV. I'll spell it out to you in the chat. It'll make sense. I mean, lovely composition for being completely made on VCB rack. Definitely feel like you guys have got a hang of this. And just like, from a creative perspective, I just felt like that that very high frequency synth that could take breaks in between and then come back again. Just felt like it was just going on for hours on end without anything else like really responding to it. Yeah, other than that, like great stuff.
Yeah, it's very much in the territory of like Boards of Canada, Tin Man, that sort of a piece. Again, like it's what I feel is that everything is so cool in this track, but if right now it's a little formless, right? So if in case you can give like a certain form to this, like a 3.5 minute arrangement, it can go very well in that Warp Records, like those kind of experimental sort of a space, which can be amazing. Again, like this also, it works artistically. It's up to you how you want to put through your track. But in case if you plan to give like a form to it, I would say like, it can go in like a nice rhythmic experimental synthy VCB. I mean, modular kind of a genre. I don't know what to call it, but yeah.
Yeah, and also like I felt like overall the track could use a little bit more warmth. I think you can easily achieve that just by doing some creative things on the master.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was a great tune. I enjoyed listening to.
You can
especially
go on for hours with this.
Sorry.
You can go on for hours listening to this.
True. Yeah, that's the beauty of these modular patches. Actually,
Right.
I felt like they made good use of clock dividers and multipliers also in between when those sections were like repeating like
Yeah.
then suddenly everything kicks back in. That was cool. Cool. So let's check out the next one. This one is called Slippery Slope by Bodha. quite a cool tune. Actually, I quite enjoyed listening to that. Just felt like the second half, maybe something different could happen that would, offset what was happening in the entirety of the first half. But I really like the sound design aspect of it, and yeah, definitely a cool tune.
Yeah, very raw also. Like it just sounds straight out of a like a drum machine or something, like, just very raw sounds, like not processed or something, which gives its character. It's not like everything has to be, shaped and tuned. This is certainly one of those kind of tracks which works very good as a raw track. And yeah, I think even like a little bit of rhythmic change in the second drop would make sense, like just some sort of rides or something coming in, that would also finish off the whole thing. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Ash said, musically it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, good. Nice tune, man. Happy to see, because he was my student. Lovely tune. Yeah.
lovely.
Okay, sick.
Cool, good stuff. Bodha, we always are open to hearing more music from you. Let's check out the next one. This one is called Yours by Ahin Ram.
I'm holding a light up. When will you find every step when all I can see is the edge? You open my mind up, make me feel lighter. I know I'll see you again. When the night comes down, the night comes down. When the night comes down, when you're alone out there, or will I still be yours? I'm holding a light up. When will you find me to come back and guide every step? When all I can see is the edge, you open my mind up, make me feel lighter. I know I'll see you again. When the night comes down, night comes down.
I mean, there's nothing really that I can honestly fault in this. I think arrangement wise, it's good. It's great sound design wise. Like even the vocal was processed really well. Yeah, I think this tune should be out there on Beatport by now.
Exactly. I think it's in a similar space. I think just everything was put together very well. Yeah, no comments to be honest.
Yeah, true. Like amazing work for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's check out the next one. This one's called Slither by VHSR. I can just go out there and say this. I think this is the my favorite tune of the day. Just one small thing I would change is just that transition, like when it goes out of the break, that felt a little abrupt. Other than that, I think you have a fine tune on your hand for sure.
I think it was more like a jam. He just did a cut off and then just pulled it back in. It felt like if you perform this track live, that's what supposedly you'll do. Like, just take the kick off with the low cut a little bit and then just give it back. Really cool tune, man. Like it's two things again. Like one thing is like the wider things, things which are super wide. Again, just check them in the compatibility of mono. Because again, I can't tell it right now because you have to literally put a mono on that and see if how much are they coming. And that's it. Yeah. Because some things are super wide and they're just going around swirling in your head. And if it's like a listening kind of a tune, it's still fine. But club tunes, you'll just have to check. So
Yeah,
I don't-
definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, just see if it's all coming together.
But yeah, loved the approach of like using a
303.
303, and even the bass notes were like very melodic for a tune like this, but
Yeah.
still it worked really well.
Yeah.
That was something that I was impressed by for
There
sure.
was also this sense of tension. I was expecting if he'll open up the cutoff of the 303 sometime, but he didn't, which was like a nice tease. But I would expect sometime maybe to open it up a little bit, the track somewhere.
Maybe
I
like
don't know.
it's a 6.5 minute tune. Maybe it does open up at some point, but if you didn't open it, like I mean, I would give you 100 points for that.
Yeah, it's like a nice tease.
Yeah, because that restraint is very, very tough to get on yourself of not going for the cutoff knob.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's check out the next one by Ishan Mukherjee,
Oh yeah.
namesake. We have a tune called Taha by Ishan Mukherjee. Let's check it out. The description on SoundCloud says textures, melodies, and memories from my upcoming album. Cool. I'm excited to hear this.
Even if we try, there's no reason to hide the significant. These steps of time, you're gonna need to find.
Wow, quite a nice tune. Like definitely very well composed. Uh, Good luck for the rest of your album. I'm really excited to hear the rest of it. Just a couple of things from my side. Just the snare clap slap sort of thing that felt a bit too loud.
Yeah.
It kept sort of scaring me. And one more thing, the synth that comes in, I think around the 125 or 130 mark, that also felt a little loud. Maybe some compression on that and taming some of the resonances. But other than that, like, excellent job.
Yeah.
The guitar also amazing stuff.
Same. I think just the volume balancing. Rest is like 10 on 10. I can start my morning with this kind of a tune. It's like, like a very sweet sounding tune. A lot of Bonobo, Weevil kind of inspiration.
True.
It's
Yeah.
good stuff. Like, yeah,
Excellent stuff.
just the volume balancing a little bit on some of the elements.
Yeah,
But
just to highlight, I really like the live drums also. Very well programmed if it's programmed, or if it's played, very good job playing it.
yeah. And also, I wasn't expecting the vocal. And the fun part is that good thing that it doesn't come too much. Like it's, just once it comes and then it comes a little bit. So cool.
Yeah, I mean, restraint of any kind when shown like this is definitely appreciated,
Yeah.
especially when you surprise a listener and like you bring something in and you don't bring it in again the same way. That's really, really nice to hear always.
Yeah.
Because music without surprise is not really exciting.
Exactly.
Cool. Let's check out the next one. I think this is the one before the very last track for today. This one is called Balter by Arcane. Arcane is my friend Safi, who lives in Canada now, who's actually been playing some really cool parties there also. Let's check out what he's been up to. Okay, so something like this doesn't usually happen to me, but I associate this track with the color gray.
Yeah.
Like it's not like a banger, it's not like too deep either, it's just perfectly in between.
Hmm.
I felt like it was very, very hypnotic also.
Yeah.
Just maybe it lacked a little bit of like something that could define it like perfectly.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed listening to that on the other hand.
It was very mysterious. Like you just, and it was also, since you don't have a lot of, even the hi-hats have like a high cut on them. They were very warm hats. So you're always in this deep space while listening to it. Technically, one thing though, the low end is a little too muddy for, not muddy, I would say like a little foggy. It seems fog, like there's like a lot of
Yeah.
blendness there. So if only if like maybe the kick is a little distinct from the rest of the other kicks or the toms, this can work like really well in that spectrum. Because right now, all four notes like dut, 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 are kicks of the same, type maybe. But your actual main rhythm kick, if you can distinct, make it a little unique from the rest of them, probably it can work out really well.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Maybe it sounded to me like it's a delay on the kick that's
Yeah,
creating that thing. Maybe process the delayed part of the kick a little differently, try some erosion on it. Then maybe like distort it a bit, then filter it. So, it sets it apart from the other kick, or completely change the approach. Maybe add like a different main kick and let this be your subby groove.
exactly. And the first few kicks which also came, I really loved that. Like when it was just coming like a break too. So that low end was really hot, like heavy, and I don't know, like a very foggy night in a warehouse on the pier of a dock or something kind of a situation, right? Yeah, it was cool, like a very different sort of a approach.
Yeah, for sure. Like a very unique tune, no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have the last tune for today. This one's called Left and Right by Deodar. Let's check it out. Just that mid bass sort of groove just felt like it was too loud for me. Maybe push that in a bit, like compress it a little bit, maybe EQ out some of the extreme low end if it's clashing with your main bass. And other than that, even one nice transition to go from the break back into the groove. I think that could do justice. But other than that, I think it was a excellent tune.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed listening to this one.
There was like right amount of minimalism also, not like some extra opening of cutoff and all. It's just very warm, housey. Uh, One thing I can add is like I felt it till the point we heard. It was a little stretched, like maybe like even if you remove like a 20-second from the whole track till where we are now, it can work well. But again, it depends on what kind of cut you want to make, like an extended kind of a track or like a 6 minute track. It's depend completely on to the person. But like the shakers and all were introduced like maybe a 2.5 minutes late or something. By the time things were a little, like I was just waiting for some sort of a change to come, like at some points.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, Ishan. Even I felt like, that mid bass sound also was introduced a little late in the track.
Yeah.
I think that could have been there from the start, just, kept the groove rolling. And then, like what you're saying about removing like a 16 bar portion in between, like 20 seconds or so, that could definitely make the track a lot more.
Later in the whole thing.
Yeah. Because, like, who has an attention span of more than 20 seconds now?
No, I mean, on a dance floor perspective, again, it can work actually, like extended mixes and everything. But just while listening, I can, tell at least this because sonically it was really cool. Arrangement, maybe like some 20 seconds can be removed from my perspective. Like that's what probably I would have done. But again, this, I don't think it's like a very big deal. The track was pretty cool. Yeah.
So I think maybe arrangement and also kick felt a little like bit in the back. Maybe a little bit more click on it would bring it out nicely and round it off well. But great tune to like close this session.
Yeah. It's pretty chilled out. Nice.
Yep. All right. Hope you've enjoyed yourselves listening to tunes from these incoming producers and producers whose track deserve to be on Beatport, but they've somehow sent their tracks for feedback. Please, those of you who we've mentioned, please like approach some labels, start putting your music out there, and we'd be very happy to see that that happening to you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we look forward to having all of you back here again.
Nice. Thanks for having me. Anyway, I'm a part of Beatworks, so I keep coming. But it was lovely just to listen on the screen as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for coming aboard, Ishan. It was great to have you as well. And do check out Ishan's new album. I think it drops very soon in about a couple of weeks.
Yeah. 10th of July. So still the premiering and all those tracks is slowly coming one by one. So yeah. But yeah, soon.
All right, then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Rest of Sunday evening.
Bye, Ashrat. See you guys.